So let's start preparing the scene, and the first thing I like to do is to check the unit setup. We are working at centimeters. So the first thing I like to do is to check to create let's say the logo. So we'll create a circle and the radius will be 55 centimeters. So that's our main stuff for the logo. Let's do adaptive for the interpolation to have a better curve, and let's create also a text, and let's say that the name is maybe, let's say, Sparks, and then we'll create also another text. So let's say that we have this one there, and we'll try to use something that can be visible also on your workstation. So we can use maybe directly the Arial bold, and let's try just to have a little bit more space. Let's see if it is a little bit more little, and then we'll create another text, and this one will be the number 4. Let's say Sparks 4, and we'll use no italic, and let's say that this one stays there. So that's the main logo we are using. So let's continue, and the sphere will have maybe just a little bit of some different area, but before I like to create also a curve, and let's say that we have maybe, let's do a copy, and let's go at full screen there. Right mouse button, convert to editable spline. Let's work with the segments, and I like to remove these segments, and maybe we can create some new vertices. So let's say maybe a refine there, and let's say that we'll have a refine there. Then back to the segments, and we can remove this one and this one. Then we can create some more curve. Let's say that we are not starting a new shape, and let's say that from there we are creating something like that. Obviously later we'll fix the shape. Okay, so back there, let's pick those 2 vertices, and we go there to use the fuse and weld, and the same there, but before we move those vertices, and then back there, fuse and weld. Now we can move the various vertices there, and also this one. Let's say that we change a little bit the shape, okay, something like that. Maybe we can tune a little bit there the curve. Okay, that is better than before. So let's say circle white, and this one is circle purple. Nice. Let's go in the 3D viewport, and we'll use the let's say the bevel. So we'll have the first one. It will be not so much because I like to have a bidimensional look, so you see just a little bit for the outline. Then we select the other spline and we use again the bevel, and you see that actually we have the same level. If we use there, for example, 6 and there 6, obviously it is a little bit bigger. So this one can be let's say white, and this one can be purple, so we have a reference for what we are doing. Let's see in shaded mode also from this point of view. Okay, nice. So then another thing we have to do is to use this one, and this one too will be maybe tridimensional using the the bevel, but it will be really lower. So let's go there, and let's say that we have maybe 1 centimeter for this one, and let's try with -8, so it will be a little bit more tridimensional. Okay, let's go to the number 4. We use again the bevel, but this one will be more tridimensional, so let's say 5, and we'll use there maybe, let's try with -1, 5, and there we can try also with a bigger scale. Okay, so you see it's more tridimensional than the other one, and let's move it there. Nice. Okay, so let's start creating also some lighting and some material, and we'll use V-Ray to work on the scene, but obviously you can do the same thing using Mentor-Ray or I-Ray or whatever else. Let's create a camera. We'll have a free camera. Let's use the camera using the C key over the viewport, and we'll move the camera. Then we can say show save frame, and we'll work to have the HD format. We go for 1 key, and I like to work a little bit with the scene composition there. So let's say something like that to make something more nicer to be seen. So another thing is to start lighting the scene, and we can use a V-Ray light, and the V-Ray light will be a dawn. We can move it there. Let's set V-Ray as rendering engine. We have no global illumination for the moment. Let's do some settings. So let's use 32 key, 24 for the render region, and actually we can stay with this parameter. Let's lower the resolution just to be able to see the stuff in the right way. Okay, we need to tune the various parameter. We have one there. Let's go to shaded, and we need an HDR map. So let's go in the material editor, and let's say HDR, and we'll use a V-Ray HDR map, browse, and we go to pick a map coming with 3ds Max, and let's say that is a spherical map. And then there in the map we have to set invisible, so we don't see the environment, and we can copy there as the texture, assistance, 2 key for the resolution, spherical full dome, so we'll have the complete resolution all over. So you see that's the lighting actually. Let's say that there we have an higher resolution. And let's start preparing the material so later we can tune the various stuff. And this one will be the purple, and we'll use a V-Ray material, but we'll use really simple material, so you can do the same thing using the other shader if you are using another rendering engine. Let's go for a purple color. We can assign. We go for reflection and reflection. It will be high reflective and just a little bit of reflection glossiness, and let's use 16 subdivision. And for the moment we stay with this value, and maybe we can just use 2.5 for the reflection. Then let's do the white. We use a similar color, but we'll call it a similar material, I mean, and this one will be completely white. Let's see. Okay, that's how it looks. And maybe we can go a little bit higher with the glossiness just to have more precise reflection. So then let's use the same white for the 4, and for the sparks for the moment let's see to use maybe let's go there, let's say text. We can assign it, and we have to find a nice looking color. Let's do some testings. And let's try to have the reflection also there, but this time we'll have a really low reflection glossiness. So now we can pick again the dome light, and let's start to try having more lighting inside the scene. It is still low. Let's go to 4. And we are starting to have a nice looking. Maybe try with 4, 5. Okay. Nice. I like to change a little bit the scaling for the text. So let's select both, and we can create a group, text, logo, and we can create an X4 modifier. Then we pick the gizmo and we start scaling just to have something more interesting. Okay, nice. So now we need to have a nice looking background, and to create the background we can create everything in compositing. So for the moment we can try to have just this stuff, or maybe if we like we can create an environment in 3D. It depends on what we are trying to do. So let's imagine that we like to have an environment. To have the environment, we can do something like that, and we pick the lighting, and this light will exclude this one. So actually if we go to render, we have obviously a dark environment. Now we can pick this one and right mouse button, object properties, and let's say visible to reflection and refraction, receive shadows and cast shadows. Everything will be removed. So in this case it will be not visible inside the reflection. Then let's go back there, and let's say that we create another material, this one is environment, and we can assign it. This material can be done using, for example, a gradient. Let's go to a gradient ramp. Let's make it visible, and let's try to use something else, for example the radial one, and we go for, let's say, maybe something more. Let's say this color will be like this. And then another color can be, for example, this one. Let's move to have, you see, that's coloring, and let's try to see what we have. Obviously it is not visible, so this one, let's try with the self-illumination. Okay, so you see that's our octal environment. Obviously we'll put something more in compositing later, but at this point I think that the sparks there can be black and it will be more reflective, and let's see how it looks. Let's go back to a lower reflection. Okay, something like that. Okay, let's say that this one can be nice, so we save. So in this case, let's imagine that this one is our logo. If we go to render at the higher resolution, obviously we have to tweak also the various parameters. So it is a simple render, but to obtain a better look, we can try to have the Mitchell neutrality, and we go for 110. And let's say that there we have 32 and 2, nothing so complex. So that's the rendering, and obviously we have to prepare the preliminary compositing to have a better result, but we'll work on this project using this look actually. So let's move to the next step, preparing the basic compositing project.